the other thing is, well, those times to be profitable are also times for your family to be fed into, right? And so now you got to feed your family, and you got to, be there for homework. You want to be there for events, right? And you got to lead your home too. And what I didn't think about in my younger training days is how active kids are going to be, and the programs they need, or the tutoring they might need. And so if all I'm doing is relying on profit in that small time of the day, or that small amount of time of the day, usually from like 4 to 9, right after school at 9 o'clock, well, it's gonna be hard for me to be there for my family.
It all speaks for itself. Grinding in silence, ain't nothing to tell. When we step on the court, we gon' bring it to light, and we stop and pop like we caught it a light. Stop asking what's wrong with me. You already know there's a dog in me. And there's no stopping my focus, man. Make sure all my people gon' ball with me. Yeah, I came to compete, I'm a dog with it. Yeah, I came to compete with my paws in it.
What's up, CTA family? Welcome back to another episode of the Compete Mentality Podcast. The Compete Mentality Podcast exists to motivate, educate, and inspire you guys to compete. Our definition of competing is doing what God calls you to do, even when it's hard. And for you faithful listeners, thank you so much for joining me here each and every week. For those of you that it's your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. And without further ado, I am so excited to introduce our very special guest, Coach Joey Burton. Joey, thanks for joining us today on the podcast, my man.
It's a pleasure to be back on.
Absolutely. And you're a repeat. And this is a guest that's near and dear to me, y'all. Years ago, as a young man, just looking at other coaches, other trainers that I respect and admire. I remember, Joey, I can't even remember what year it was. Feels like another lifetime ago, feels like yesterday at the same time. But I remember reaching out to you. I saw this guy online that was training NBA guys, and he was so gracious. I reached out to him. He was so gracious to me to let me come down and watch some workouts, pick his brain, and just to kind of start right away, get into it. I was in a spot where training had always been a part of my life. It was always a side hustle for me. It was my passion. And I was a young man trying to figure things out. And I went to Joey and I said, Joey, like, what do you got to do? Like, I want to do this full time. Like, how do I do it full time? And he was just so gracious to me in his time and his answer. He basically just go for it, JD. He's like, yeah, just go for it. You got to go all in. And I just remember that like yesterday, and that was a pivotal conversation in my life. And I appreciate that wisdom that you gave me that day, and that encouragement to keep going and to just go for it. And just the everyday example that you have. And Joey and I both have trained players from youth all the way to the NBA. And we're going to dive into a conversation today regarding basketball, regarding shooting, regarding mindset, regarding, just hot topics in the game today. And I'm excited to dive in. But Joey, you are down in Atlanta now. And tell us about your transition to Atlanta. How's that going for you and your family from going from Indianapolis to Atlanta?
Yeah, it's been a different transition. I was firmly established in Indianapolis. I had clientele ranging from youth all the way to NBA players. And so the day-to-day looks a lot different down in Atlanta than it did in Indianapolis. And it's like you're starting all over again in some aspects. I'm thankful that the majority of my time is spent working with my NBA clients, but there's that aspect of not having the days that I'm home or the days I'm in town workouts with youth, because just haven't had much time to really plant myself here in Atlanta and to build a youth training program. And so it's allowed me, or I would say more so forced me to get creative and try different things that I normally wouldn't do. And that's one thing I'm working on right now is doing more online training. I About a month ago, I just launched a shooting mechanics evaluation program where players could send me their shooting shots or their shooting mechanics, and we'll address them. And then we will send video. You can send me game clips, and just trying to get players to start building habits that will impact their ability to shoot the basketball, not just only for the current season, but for years to come. And so it's been fun to launch that. I wish I would have done it earlier, but when I was in Indianapolis, I really didn't have time. I would always be, busy with workouts, whether I was traveling or whether I was in town. So it's been a good challenge for me, because one of the things in the training business that for trainers out there that are younger that we don't really think about is we have a small amount of time to make money each day, right? And school is basically 9 months out the year. So if your main source of income is coming from youth players, there's only a small amount of time or hours in the day that you could be profitable. So what are you doing to create other streams of income? And the other thing is, well, those times to be profitable are also times for your family to be fed into, right? And so now you got to feed your family, and you got to, be there for homework. You want to be there for events, right? And you got to lead your home too. And what I didn't think about in my younger training days is how active kids are going to be, and the programs they need or the tutoring they might need. And so if all I'm doing is relying on profit in that small time of the day, or that small amount of time of the day, usually from like 4 to 9, right after school at 9 o'clock, well, it's gonna be hard for me to be there for my family. And not that you're gonna have some days that you have to work those hours. So it's been good for me to really be down here, and has forced me to get creative and find different streams of income. So when I'm at home, I could be present. When I'm at home, I'm not trying to schedule, all these different workouts that are impacting my family time and me being able to pour into my family and lead my family.
Joey, I love to hear that. We're diving right into the nitty gritty. All you listeners, Joey is elite when it comes to teaching shooting. And I remember going and watching his workouts and just taking notes after notes. He's so detailed, but makes things simple and clear for the player to understand. I absolutely love that you are now making yourself available to a limitless audience through your online program. How can our audience get, if they want to get in touch with this program, where do they go to get this?
Yeah, it's simple. Just go to joeyburton.com, and it's right there on the front page, and you can just scroll down to my shooting mechanics evaluation program and purchase it with one click. So it's been good. I have a Division I player. I have a Division I women's player. I have youth players already. So this isn't just for a certain age group. And it's the same things I do with my NBA clients that I can't be with every single day. And so if there's something that we need to look at, or if there's not, if something's not feeling right for them, they always have the ability to send me video, and then we could discuss over FaceTime. So it's been really exciting. I launched it right at the start of the season, and I am excited to see where it leads. And I just want to kind of get people to hear about it, know about it, because one of the things most players are going to hear at the end of the year is, in things of improvement, is, hey, if you could shoot it better, or we need you to come back as a better shooter. That's going to increase your role. That's going to increase your impact. And so, where could it lead? It could lead to me, I'm starting to look into maybe being available for players to be their shooting coach, right? Where they could send me clips, and this is just a small sample of that. But it's 4 sessions, FaceTime sessions, 15-minute sessions, where you will have video sent to me. I'll break it down for you. We'll discuss it. I'll give you some drills to work on in between each session. But the bigger picture could be possibly, paying for me to be your basically, full-time shooting coach, where whenever you have a question, you could reach out to me and work with me or talk about it. And some NBA players do the same thing. Obviously they have the resources, but you think about, golfers, and there's golfers out there that have their own personal swing coach, and they're constantly in contact. We're not talking about constant contact on what needs to change. We're not in constant contact about what all the mechanical changes. And each time we meet, it's about like some mechanical tweak. When we meet, it could be about mentality. It could be about where, what is working for you, what's making you feel good. You had a great game. How can we stay in that mindset, and things like that. So a lot of people think a shooting coach is there to only, watch the mechanics and continue to, make sure the shot looks perfect every rep. And that's not all that is, going on in sessions.
I love that you went that way with our conversation, Joey, and talk to our audience about that. I think it's so true. People get so caught up in just the shooting mechanics that's their issue or whatever. But what we've really kind of the way Compete Training Academy, our business is going, is really focusing on the mentality and the mindset side of things. Just tell us, with your NBA guys, with your clients you're working with right now, how important is it to have a good mindset, a positive mindset, and how much are you working with people every day on their mindset?
Yeah, no, it's something that we definitely discuss. I am a little bit, blessed to have NBA clients that have good mindsets. They come from a good space. They don't allow, their approach or their mental approach to really be the issue. But that's been built up over time, right? That's been built up through past performance. That's been built up, but for the time or the moment that they're in. That's been built up through being focused on the time and the moment that they're in. So, we do discuss it, and more so with the NBA clientele, it's about making sure there's not a lot of noise coming in from the outside, right? For the youth, it's more about, hey, it's okay if you've missed 2 or 3 shots in a row. All right. Now we have to just focus on going like 1 for 1. That's all we wanted to go. Did you shoot your shot? Yes, I did. Okay, that's fine. We can't control the results. So for the youth, it's teaching them those components. A lot of times with the NBA players, it's about making sure that outside noise and the things that come with the lifestyle of being an NBA player aren't disrupting your mindset, and the temptations that come with being an NBA player aren't impacting your lifestyle, which could impact your performance. So it's a little bit different on different levels. I'm reading a terrific book called The First Rule of Mastery, and in it, and I shared this on Twitter, in it they were doing these pressure tests, and they had a PJ golfer, I think his name is Ricky Fowler. They had like a club pro, whoever, at a country club, the pro there. And then they just had a scratch golfer. And the point or the thing that stuck out to me is when they did this pressure test, they put, they had to putt 18 putts, and they put the golf balls at different locations on the green, right? And I think the goal was to make 15 out of 18 or whatnot. And Ricky Fowler, and they were testing like their heart rate and stuff like that, but not that was more important in the story. What really stuck out to me with the story was that Ricky Fowler went 15 for 18, and the person I was running the test was like, how do you think you did? He's like, I did great. I hit 17 shots. And the guy was like, well, you only made 15. He's like, oh, that's fine. I came in wanting to hit 17 shots, not make 17, but hit my shots 17 times. I did that. I made only 15. I could live with that. And I was like, wow, that's so powerful with shooting, because many times, especially younger players, just think about, if I make it, that was a good shot. If I miss it, that was a bad shot. And when we can get so focused and detailed on shooting our shot, the shot that we habitually have practiced, the shot that we know when we shoot this shot, it gives us the best chance at making the shot, we could live with that. And now we won't be having to surrender to the result, or we won't have to be totally invested in the result when we have that mindset.
That'll preach right there, Joey. We have listeners on this podcast from all industry, sport, and that's transferable across industry. And shooting your shot, being present in the moment, that is huge. And Joey, I want to continue to kind of talk about the mindset side of things while we're on it here. And just for you personally as a coach, you're an elite NBA coach that pours into people. That's your job. People hire you to coach them up. What are some things that you do on a daily basis to, obviously you're pouring out to people, right? What are you doing to fill your cup up, to work on your mindset? Just like you reading these great books to fuel yourself. What are some things that you're doing?
Yeah, obviously, reading is a big part of it. I'm a man of faith, reading the Bible on a daily basis, and getting fed through a spiritual means of reading the Bible has been very impactful, and has made me a better coach, a better father. It's the foundation of everything that allows me to pour out to others. And then just on more of a professional side, it's reading a lot, and it's not always reading books. It's about studying other great players, other great coaches. And so there's a lot of reading of articles and Google searches and to different coaches and how they approach things. I had a chance when I was coaching at Mississippi State to watch or listen to Nick Saban at a coaching clinic for the Mississippi High School Coaches Association. And from that point on, I've just devoured anything that he does, or I'll listen to his press conferences. I read articles about him. Bill Belichick, that's another one. Here recently, Mike McDaniel. I'm always reading stuff about him and his approach, and I've shared some really good things that he does. Steve Kerr. I had a player that played for Steve Kerr, and just seeing how he treats players, and how he wants to build a culture of joy, in his organization and things like that. So it's not always just about reading books. I dive into a lot of articles. I want to, read quotes, or, try and find what are some of the coaching greats mindsets and approaches to different parts of the season. You got training camps, you got the beginning part of the season. Now we're in the, thick of things, and now you got playoff runs and all that. So a lot of reading, and then finally just film study, studying film, or even if I'm just watching my clients. I think I don't always watch the game live, so I'll go back and watch it on Synergy and watch their minutes. And while I'm watching them, I'm also watching other things that are happening, so that I could kill two birds with one stone. So film study is another huge part of, me being able to be filled with knowledge and information, so that when there's times for me to implement that with the players, I can.
I love that, Joey, and our audience can take a lot from that. As far as I want to kind of transition to youth basketball here. What are your thoughts on AAU basketball right now?
I think it's a good opportunity for players to be able to be seen. I think it's a good opportunity for players to, have a chance to achieve their goals of playing in college. I don't think it's the players. I think it's the adults that have, kind of, I wouldn't say ruined it, but hurt it. And it's just something that is, like most things, when adults start putting themselves with their egos and it's about me into any pure thing, the chances of it going wrong or turning bad is very likely. And so, I have no problem with AAU. I have no problem with players trying to use AAU, which is a means of doing it to earn a scholarship. But also, it's not the end all. It's not the end of things. I worked with a player last year that was on the Hawks. He was a rookie, and he didn't play on a big circuit, like one of the shoe circuits, until his junior summer. And his name is Tyrese Martin, just a great dude. From what I recall, what I'm saying, he didn't even play. He just played local. He's from north of Philadelphia. Basically, played local tournaments with a local team. Well, an Under Armour team wanted his high school teammate, and so the coach said, "Well, if you want the high school teammate to come to a tryout or come to a workout, then you got to take Tyrese too." And they're like, "Okay, well, we really want this guy, so we got to kind of take him." But when Tyrese went to the workout, they were like, "Whoa, Tyrese is really good too, and we'll take both of them now." And they both got on the Under Armour team. Tyrese got a scholarship to Rhode Island with Danny Hurley. Then Danny Hurley went to UConn. He transferred to UConn. He missed being a national champion by 1 year, but it was just, to me, it was an incredible story that, it's amazing how many youth players or the parents are worried about what team they're on in seventh grade. And if they're on one of the best teams or one of the teams that are affiliated with the shoe company, they think that their child isn't going to be able to achieve their goals. And Jaron Jackson Jr., his eighth grade summer, his dad just picked up a few local kids from Park Tudor, and I think he had Calvert Cheney's son on the team as well. When Calvert was coaching at IU for the first time, and they just played local tournaments. I think they played like at the field house all the time. And then after his freshman year, he got on, after his freshman year, maybe in sophomore year, he got on with like the Adidas Indiana Elite. And then his junior year, he went to EYBL, and then after that, he was top 5 pick in the NBA draft. But even the top 5 pick in the NBA draft wasn't like concerned about being on the top, AAU team as a 7th or 8th grader.
I love that answer, Joey. And really, like, what comes to mind is just like finding the fit that is for your kid, for your child. I couldn't agree more with what you said about AAU. I think it's an amazing opportunity. I think just like any pure thing, like you said, when egos get into it, or it can get tainted that way. But I love what you're saying about fit. And I actually talk about fit all the time with my players, whether it's, choosing an AAU program, whether it's choosing your college of choice, your pro team of choice. It's about your values and what's important to you. And now we're seeing on all levels. I have a player that I've trained for years named Kyle Mangus, who played at Indiana Wesleyan here locally in Marion, Indiana, where I'm at. and he's now a part of the Pacers organization. From playing in an NAIA school, he just dropped 31 points the other night for the Mad Ants. So it's about fit. It's about it to your Tyrese, you know, playing local, still getting opportunities and making it to the NBA. So I think that's extremely important.
And you have to think long. You know, you have to think it's a journey. It's not a 1 year journey or 2 year journey. You have to think long. And quite frankly, you know, my son started playing like competitive youth sports this year, and
what age is he?
He's 8, and he play up on a 9-year-old football team here in the South. And youth football in Georgia is even bigger than youth basketball in Indiana. It's like crazy. And you know, I mean, these coaches were running stuff that, I mean, I was like, man, I didn't know they ran this stuff at, you know, 8 years old, you know, and I'm not a big football guy, but I was impressed. But, you know, it's easy to, you know, even for me, I mean, I have to admit, I saw some kids that were doing stuff that my son couldn't do. And I'm like, man, is my son going to be good enough? Is like, does he even have a chance? You know, like, these thoughts are, you know, come into your mind, you know. So I'm not, you know, being a coach myself and working with, some of the some players that are in the best league in the world. I still have to battle those thoughts. And so if you're a parent and you're listening to this, those thoughts are going to come. And you know, it's part of the process. But what you do with those thoughts, how you control those thoughts as well, is going to really be a great impact, or make a great impact on your child's journey. And so my son has been blessed to be around some NBA players, and you know, what it takes to make the NBA, obviously, but you know, he wants to play in the NBA. And all I could tell him is just, you got to work hard. You got to, what are you doing to separate yourself each day? And so those are things that I'm trying to tell him. But it's easy to get, you know, in the comparative game of like, oh, there's this player's really good. His first game of basketball, there was a really good player on the other team, and my son, you know, isn't as good as him, right? You know, and when those thoughts started to come in my mind, right? And I'm just like, you know what? I can't. I'm in this profession. Why am I even thinking like this? You know. And so, if it could happen to me, it's going to happen to you. And join me in having to control my thoughts and think about the long journey, not the destination that will be the next year.
Oh, that's so good, Joey. And I love what you said about comparison, and comparison really can be the thief of all joy, and taking you off your path. And if you're listening to this, I mean, there's just so many things that can pull your attention from what your purpose and what you're doing with social media and all kinds of things where is available now that can cause you to start comparing. So I love that answer. Joey, really kind of, as I look at you as an elite coach, what makes a great coach? We got a lot of coaches listening to this, high school, college, pro. Just kind of from your opinion, what makes a great coach to you?
What makes a great coach? I could give the typical everyday answer of, you have to be a server, you have to love others, you have to, it's about, you know, those that you coach, and that those are all important. But as I've gotten older and I've been in this longer, you got to really, and it's going to be maybe mean to say, but you got to find out if you have the gift of coaching. You can have the right approach or the right, you know, attitude towards it, but if you don't have the gift, it's going to be hard to be good. And just like your elite players, right? I mean, you look at like LeBron. He had the gift to be able to play basketball. He had these physical tools, right? You look at Kobe Bryant. He had the mentality. He had the physical tools. I mean, and those are the elites, right? But even if a guy like I work with, like a George Niang who doesn't have the physical tools, that guy has a gift to play basketball. He has this ability to read and understand situations and make the right reads, and it's a gift that he has. It's developed, and I mean it's been refined, but he has a gift. He has the ability he's had this touch, and it's a gift. And so I think just even with the teachers, it's teachers, there's pastors, entrepreneurs, there's I don't have the gift of entrepreneurship, and I've struggled because I don't have the gift of entrepreneurship, and I've had to learn from others, and it's a constant battle. It's not a constant battle for me to get on the floor and go make a player get better. Now, there's a lot of work to prepare for that, but it's not a constant battle for me to do that. I don't have the gift of entrepreneurship. Now, I could say, hey, I really love having my own business. I really love making my own money. I really love making my own schedule. And I just have this gift of making money. So if this doesn't work out, I know I could go start something else, and it's probably going to work out. I know I'm going to finally hit on something because I have the gift of entrepreneurship. And so that's the thing that I would tell young coaches is really, really start trying to seek out if you have the gift of coaching. And well, how do I know? A lot of times others in your life will speak that into you without you having necessarily even to ask. The first time I ever felt like, man, I might have the gift was I was in I went to Moody Bible Institute, and I was in a class that we had to take. It was a preaching class called Communication and Biblical Truth. And the professor, Dr. Perry, was just old school football player in college, black man. It was a professor there, and also a pastor. And I didn't really know him that well. He knew me because my wife was part of like the one of the black no, I wouldn't say organizations, but I don't know how to explain it, but whatever, So he would mentor some of the black students and his wife would mentor black students at the university or at the school. And so anyways, I knew of him through that, but I didn't really know him. And I got done, with my first sermon, and I put a lot of hours into it, and I sit down, and he's been pretty, was very blunt, very honest. Like the guy that went before me was like, hey, what's your major? Pastoral studies. Okay, I think we need to meet today. Are you free? And we need to discuss like if this is really where you need to be going, right? Like that's how blunt he was. And he explained why. He said, we gotta really test out if being a pastor, because it's such a prestige position, right? And so I'm like, man, this dude's probably gonna roast me. He's gonna cook me. But I'm like, I don't really care because I'm not a pastor. I'm gonna be a basketball coach. So he can tell me whatever he wants. I'm a basketball coach, but I'm like, I just don't want to be embarrassed. I had a few teammates in the class, and this came out and said, Joey, and I was like, yeah, and he said, what's your major? And I was like, sports and recreation. And he was like, you want to coach one day? And I said, yeah, I do. And he said, you're going to be a great coach. You're going to be a great coach. You keep speaking with like the conviction, and you keep speaking with the passion that you have, and you keep communicating like that. You're going to be a great coach. And that was the first time I remember ever someone speaking like and revealing that I had the gift. And then in my first year of coaching high school basketball, and I'm friends to him this day. I'm 24. This guy's, 38, 39 years old. And I remember after a practice, we were putting up basketballs, and he just said, "Hey, man, for being so young, he's like, man, you got a lot of potential. You're gonna be a good coach one day. You stick with it. You do things the right way. You're gonna be a good coach." So I had people pour into me about the gift of coaching that I just wanted to do it. I didn't understand that it was a gift. But as I get older, I see that it's a gift. One of my really good friends, and he's been so influential in my growth and helping me get to where I'm at today. When I called him once when I was in India and things weren't going well. Training wasn't where it was now. And, I was questioning if I should even keep doing it. And I called him and I was talking to him and said, I don't know, I think I might need to look for something else. And he said, no. You have a calling. You don't have a career. This isn't your career. You have a calling. And he observed workouts, and I worked with his son, as well. And so when you have moments like that, and I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying this to when you have moments like that, that will confirm your gift. And another way is to put yourself in positions, right? Of where, if you are working with players and you're starting to see there's impact, you're seeing there's growth, right? There's an influence, then it's like, okay, what I'm doing is having, an impact. And so not to go off on a long course of, what is coaching, but it's a gift. And if you have the gift, it needs to be cultivated. It needs to be developed. If you don't have the gift, should you never coach? I don't want to say that, but if you don't have the gift, you need to really, truly evaluate where you're going with this, because you're going to be impacting players and people's lives, whether it's good or bad. And it might be pure. I have the purest intentions to be an entrepreneur, but why wouldn't I go out there and be a full-time entrepreneur without having somebody helping me and developing me and growing me in that? Because I don't know how to do it. I would be impacting my family, and I would be hurting my family if I just said, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to just try and do it on my own, and I don't have the gift of entrepreneurship, And so if I could do business and just only coach and not have to deal with business, I would be fine with that, right? And so so what makes a good coach is being able to identify and recognize that you have the gifts of coaching. And once you can identify and acknowledge that, then go and develop it and impact as many people as you can, however you can, and whenever you can.
Joey, that's gold right there. I can't wait for our podcast producer, Matt. Matt's going to be chopping up that segment, that gold right there for us. That was amazing. And for all of our listeners, I love what Joey said about your gift. And we all got them. God created you with gifts. And whatever that is, whatever that passion it is, you got to use your gift, because that's how you shine your light to the world. That's how you make your positive impact on the world. Joey has an amazing gift of coaching that he uses to shine his light. What's your gift? How do you shine your light? Don't compare, like Joey talked about, because comparison is the thief of all joy. Don't try to walk in a gift that isn't for you. Just like Joey's player, Georgie, who has this natural gift of understanding the game of basketball, and that is just for him, his touch, all of that. It's just a gift. You can't even explain it. We all have these gifts that you just have. You can't even explain like how you have it. It's just how you're hardwired. It's just how you're created to be. And Joey, I that was amazing. And all you listeners, as we wrap up here, I want to challenge you. What's your gift? Do you know what your gift is? Are you cultivating your gift? As I'm saying that, I'm reminded of the parable of the talents in the scriptures, where are you multiplying your gift and using your gift and growing and cultivating, like Joey just said. And Joey, man, that was awesome. I can't wait to go back and listen to this myself, get my own journal out and take my coaching points from this and apply them to my own life. You're very generous, as always, with your time, your wisdom, and it was a real treat to be able to chop it up with you today.
No, it's always a pleasure, Jordan. I appreciate you having me on, and I'm just really proud of all that you and Courtney are doing, and how you guys have grown so much, and the impact that you're having, not only in your barn, but throughout the whole state of Indiana and beyond. So keep up the great work, man, and it's a delight to see the reward of your effort, your hard work, and perseverance.
Thank you for the kind words. And truly, you are a very integral part of our journey from the very beginning, and the encouragement you gave us to keep going, to take the leap of faith. And want to just truly thank you for that. Compete Training Academy audience, thank you for joining us on this episode today. I know this impacted you. If it did, like, subscribe, share it with 2 or 3 coaches or players or friends that need to hear this message, especially about the gifts here at the end. Thank you for joining us. Always remember that competing is doing what God is calling you to do, even when it's hard.